SendOutCards, the right business opportunity at the right time. Is SendOutCards the right business opportunity at the right time? Well, there's no question that being at the right place at the right time can make a huge difference. But first, before we get into that, let me introduce you to SendOutCards if you're not already familiar with this company. Maybe you know a little, maybe nothing at all. Perhaps you've heard some rumors, you've picked up a little information here and there, but you're still not quite sure you understand who and what SendOutCards really is. SendOutCards is a privately held corporation and was officially launched in 2005. Its founder and CEO is Cody Bateman, and it is headquartered in Salt Lake City, Utah. SendOutCards is an online greeting card and gifting company with over 100 million cards sent since its inception. This, among other milestones, has garnered SendOutCards the prestigious Mail Innovation Award by the United States Postal Service as the nation's #1 sender of first-class mail. SendOutCards was also named among America's fastest growing companies in Inc.com. And as for its production capacities, SendOutCards uses the most advanced printers in the world. 6 Xerox iGen production presses use cutting-edge software to print their greeting cards. They have a capacity at peak season able to produce over 700,000 cards each every single day. Now, before we answer the original question, is SendOutCards the right company at the right time, I want you to consider the impact of your choices. You are free to choose, but you are not free from the consequence of your choice. The truth is, your choices have a huge impact on your future. Some choices seem very insignificant. They seem to have inconsequential results. Other choices are obviously significant choices, and the ramifications appear to be significant even at the outset. Some choices, perhaps just a few extra calories consumed 3 meals a day, every day of the week after week, month after month, year after year, though seemingly small when taken individually, compounded over time, this choice can result in obesity. Yes, some choices seem small, but in fact they might be significant in the ramifications. Other choices are obviously significant. Perhaps who you're going to marry, what career you're going to pursue, where you're going to live. If you're married, perhaps planning to have children, how many children will you have? The truth is, our choices do have an impact on our future. Make the right choice in various scenarios, and you are in for a great future. You recognize this picture here on the right. Of course, that's Microsoft Corporation, 1978, and I'm sure you recognize that young teenager-looking guy in the lower left-hand corner. Yes, that's Bill Gates. And in 1978, Bill Gates, by his own record on his resume, says that he was making $15,000 a year. In 2012, just last year, Bill Gates' net worth was $67 billion. I'll tell you what, Bill Gates could have made you a very rich man. If you were in the right place at the right time and you made the right choice, it could have had significant and far-reaching impact in your life. If you had purchased just $10,000 worth of shares during Microsoft's initial public offering, today you would own 137,088 shares in Microsoft, and these shares would be worth $3.6 million. Every year, you would be earning almost $88,000 in dividends. I mean, the challenge, though, is in seeing it. I mean, really, would you have invested $10,000 in this group? Looks like a bit of a motley crew at this point. But that's the real challenge. The key is to see it in the early stages, before it comes to fruition. That's when you strike gold. So how do you see the opportunity and capitalize on it even before it happens? Well, consider Netflix, Amazon, and iTunes. How would you like to have been an investor in Netflix, in Amazon, or in iTunes before they went big? I mean, these companies were game changers. In the past, when you wanted to watch a movie, you drove down to the local BlockBuster store. When you wanted a book, you drove down to the Borders bookstore. When you wanted a song or an album, you drove to the local record store. But that has all changed, hasn't it? Some companies, as marketplace changes loom over the horizon, like an ostrich, they literally put their heads in the sand and pretend like those marketplace changes aren't happening, they're not coming, and they continue on with the same plan. These companies, instead of resisting marketplace changes, these companies like Netflix, Amazon, and iTunes had an eye on the future and positioned themselves to harness the power of these marketplace changes instead of being made obsolete by them like BlockBuster, Borders, and record stores. Companies that resist marketplace change do so to their own demise. Those that foresee and plan for and capitalize on these changes ride the wave of change to great success and financial reward. Consider what Charles Darwin had to say. He said, "It's not the strongest of the species that survives, nor the most intelligent that survives. Rather, it's the one that is most adaptable to change." The key is to be adaptable. We all know the story of BlockBuster and what happened back in 2010. The move, long expected and prearranged with bondholders, ends an era that BlockBuster literally dominated. I mean, they were at the top of their game. They sat on the throne in their marketplace. But that era that BlockBuster dominated has ended, the era of Americans visiting video stores for movie rentals. Increasingly, Americans are watching movies via video subscription services such as Netflix, vending machine services such as Redbox, and services that offer movies on demand via cable, satellite, and the internet. And this was a direct quote from USA Today. I mean, here is a prime example of an industry literally revolutionized almost overnight. Modern technology was the nemesis of those companies like BlockBuster, when their business went from the storefront to the internet, from brick and mortar to click and order. So what is the next billion-dollar technology shift? Is one coming? You bet. Marketplace changes are happening almost rhythmically, time and time again. Can you see it? Can you see the next billion-dollar technology shift? Well, being able to see it, to anticipate it, to prepare for it, can make all the difference. We cannot direct the wind, we can only adjust our sails. Now, that's not a fatalistic attitude, and that's not to say that we have no power over the future. We do. We can make decisions, and if they're not the best decisions, we can readjust in the future. We can make new decisions as we go. But the truth is, some things are inevitable and outside our control. In that case, the key then is to get in position now, to be in the right place, to be at the right time, and to make the right choices. Rather than fight and resist the changing tides, why not merge your strengths with the marketplace changes? Don't resist and fight it. Rather, capitalize on it. BlockBuster and Borders, they didn't capitalize. They were crushed by the changing technology. The truth is, positioning yourself in front of the next big marketplace shift can have substantial rewards. Actually, let me rephrase. It can have incredible and, in fact, life-changing results. As Cody Bateman, founder and CEO of SendOutCards, advises, you can earn a significant monthly income by positioning yourself in front of the next billion-dollar technology shift. Carpe diem, as it were, is still good advice. The key, in fact, is where you position yourself when that wave of change comes. When you ride the wave, the experience is beautiful, exhilarating, and it's just plain fun. On the other hand, if you're not in the right position, it can be quite painful and even devastating. Have you ever used the services of PayPal? Of course, PayPal Inc. is the payment arm of eBay Incorporated, but has now morphed into a ubiquitous payment solution for e-commerce at large. By now, most of us have used PayPal at least a few times, if not many times. Do you remember the first time you used PayPal? Were you not skeptical at first, if not at least a little wary? I know I was. The whole process seemed a little iffy to me. I wasn't sure I could trust it or them, whoever they were. But now I use PayPal constantly, hardly without even a second thought. But consider this. PayPal's cloud-based point-of-sale application, a computerized cash sale, had to move through a series of stages until its acceptance in the marketplace has now become essentially a foregone conclusion. Initially, PayPal was not met with acceptance, but rather skepticism, in fact, even resistance. At first, we didn't trust it, and now many of us, we've literally come to rely on it. Again, remember that first time? Were you not leery, unsure, a little bit scared? How about now? Well, PayPal did not get there overnight, but look at them today. It is inevitable that when significant changes come, often, at first, we don't trust it. We're not ready for it. But later, we can actually come to rely on it. In fact, I've come to actually need PayPal. Consider the PayPal path. Paul Martis, president of Martis & Associates Technology, a consulting firm, speaks of PayPal hitting critical mass. Critical mass in this context, the context of technological change, means when there is enough buzz, knowledge, and awareness on the part of consumers that the technology has the opportunity to go from curiosity to adoption. He says, the test I've applied over 30 years of watching transaction technology in this business is the better, faster, cheaper test. If you have 2 out of the 3, if something provides the consumer with a better, faster, and or cheaper service, it is likely to be adopted. The truth is, most of us will never come up with a billion-dollar idea that will revolutionize our world. Do you have a billion-dollar idea? And if you do, or if you do come up with a billion-dollar idea, do you have the wherewithal to bring it to market? The late Stephen Covey said, network marketing has come of age. It's undeniable that it has become a way to entrepreneurship and independence for millions of people. The truth is, network marketing is the pathway for financial freedom for many people. Network marketing is the best, most accessible pathway to financial success and financial freedom for the average person. Just consider what Robert Kiyosaki had to say. Robert Kiyosaki, the best-selling author and millionaire entrepreneur, says network marketing is the business of the 21st century. Warren Buffett, the famous financial investor and advisor, he himself owns 3 network marketing companies. Donald Trump, the billionaire extraordinaire, has said that if he lost everything, if he had to start all over again, he would begin with a network marketing company. So the question is, what is the company and what is the right time? And can you read the signs? So let's talk about the evolution of a network marketing company. The stages are the formulation phase, the concentration phase, the momentum phase, and the stability phase. What time is the best time to get involved? Well, that's for you to decide. But as I've already said, being at the right place at the right time can make all the difference. Certainly, getting on board with a company before it hits momentum is not a bad place to be. But now I'm getting ahead of myself, so we'll get to that in just a little bit. The first phase, the formulation phase, is considered the groundwork phase. During this time, the foundation for the company is built and laid. The product is created and fine-tuned. The compensation plan is established and tweaked, and the first-line distributor group is established. This is inherently the riskiest time to get involved, but can, in keeping with the high-risk scenario, produce generational wealth for those who find success. This phase generally lasts just a few years, perhaps 1 to 3 years. It is estimated that approximately 90% of all network marketing companies that fail do so in the first 18 months of operation during this formulation phase. Next, the concentration phase follows. During this time, the company, after gaining its footing, now starts to get some real traction, moving into the $30 to $50 million per year revenue generation range. This phase is called the concentration phase because it takes hard work, concentration, and perseverance. During this time, the company's pathway is solidified. In this phase, the distributor network begins to grow and does so at a modest but encouraging pace. This phase usually lasts another 1 to 3 years. Often, this is the phase that appears most attractive to newcomers, because now the foundation is already laid. The bugs, so to speak, have been worked out. Towards the end of this phase, much of the risk of a new venture startup is past. And what is so attractive here is that the looming third phase, the momentum phase, is just over the horizon. It's literally just around the corner. In the momentum phase, coming usually from 1 to 3 years after the company has done 75 to 100 million a year in business, of course depending on its particular growth pattern, the company's growth nearly skyrockets, catapulting upward at an amazing rate. Approximately 2/3 of a company's new distributors join the company during this phase. Real-life stories of people going from rags to riches, of making a lot of money in a short amount of time, with exponential month-to-month growth, attracts newcomers in a big way. This phase, of course, does not last forever, but significant incomes are generated during this period. The growth pattern resembles that of a hockey stick. Initially, solid, steady growth moves the company in a steady climb upward until near the end of the handle, the growth nearly explodes as the curve catapults nearly straight upwards. As an example, Herbalife, when it reached 50 million in retail sales, jettisoned upward to 150 million in sales in just the next 12 months. It is for just this reason that many advocate getting in with a network marketing company during one of the first 2 phases, on the ground floor, so to speak, in order to be positioned to ride this big wave when the company hits momentum and hits critical mass. Next and last is the stability phase. The incredible surge of growth throughout the momentum phase cannot last forever. As the company grows, and at this stage has usually reached sales in excess of $1 billion annually, it reaches this final phase of stability. Though of course the company continues to expand and money continues to be made, it just does not continue at the same astronomical rate as during the momentum phase. Network marketing companies that build right and build well reach this final stage and hence continue to flourish, essentially guaranteeing their distributors will continue to experience ongoing growth and increased earnings throughout their lifetimes. So what about SendOutCards? SendOutCards is approximately 8 years old and has generated in excess of $150 million in revenue. SendOutCards has over 100,000 distributors and over 300,000 customers, and that's a great ratio. SendOutCards has an industry-high customer retention because people simply love our products, regardless of whether or not they're interested in the business opportunity. SendOutCards is currently in the tail end of the concentration phase. Momentum is just around the corner. There are signs and signals heralding the end of one phase and the beginning of the next. The key is to be able to identify them and act on them. No question, You can get in and get busy at any stage of a network marketing company's growth curve and make substantial money. But historically and mathematically, there is no doubt that if you get in with a successful network marketing company before it hits critical mass, a fortune may very well be made. As was previously mentioned, SendOutCards has been listed in Inc.com as a fastest growing company, has been awarded the Mail Innovation Award by the United States Postal Service, and is their #1 sender of first-class mail in the entire United States. Currently, SendOutCards is operating in 7 countries with plans to move into 132 countries within just the next few years. Already, SendOutCards mails cards and gifts to any location in the world with a postal address. SendOutCards is a solid company, has grown every year since its inception, is debt-free, privately held, and a voluntary member of the Direct Selling Association. In the next 5 years, SendOutCards will be a household name, and in 5 to 7 years, a billion-dollar company. Now, we all know what this picture represents. Of course, that's a nuclear warhead. Now, I found the definition of critical mass, and I want to read this. It's the minimum amount of fissile material needed to maintain a nuclear chain reaction. When critical mass is reached, it is literally unstoppable. You couldn't stop it if you tried. The energy and power released literally changes the landscape. As Paul Martis said, critical mass means there's enough buzz, knowledge, and awareness on the part of consumers that a technology goes from mere curiosity to adoption. When that happened with PayPal, Netflix, Amazon, and iTunes, the technological landscape was revamped. These companies are game changers. I mean, wouldn't you love to get just a little piece of the pie from those companies? And what these companies did to their respective niches, SendOutCards is doing with the greeting card and gifting industry. So what are the keys? The keys to moving from mere curiosity to adoption. It's simple. Is the product or service better? Is the product or service faster? And is the product or service cheaper? As Paul Martis went on to say, when a company is able to provide the consumer with a better, faster, cheaper service, that service is very likely to move from consumer curiosity to consumer adoption, just like PayPal. SendOutCards is poised to do the exact same thing. So, is SendOutCards better? Absolutely. Complete customization creates memorable and heartfelt cards with gifts added at the click of a button. Is SendOutCards faster? Absolutely. No more running out to the store. Your selection goes out by first-class mail the very next day. Is SendOutCards cheaper? Absolutely. Cards sent out at 1/3 the average cost of a store-bought card. SendOutCards doesn't have 2 of 3. SendOutCards has 3 of 3. When it comes to the better, faster, cheaper test, SendOutCards aces it. Let others lead small lives, but not you. Let others argue over small things, but not you. Let others cry over small hurts, but not you. Let others leave their future in someone else's hands, but not you. So get in front of the next big technological shift. Don't stand on the sidelines and miss your chance. Do the math. Advancing technology has and is changing the way that we do business. Greeting cards and gifts and purchases are moving from brick and mortar to click and order. SendOutCards is the next big technology shift. As greeting cards and gifts move from the storefront to the home front, someone is going to make a lot of money, and it might as well be you. Contact us, join us, make the decision now. Ride the wave. If we can be of help in any way, if we can answer any questions that you might have, give us a call at 303-684-9186, or you can email us at donandvonda@downsteam.com. We'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have, talk to you more about SendOutCards, the company, the product, the service, and the business opportunity. Truly, things are changing rapidly. Companies gain momentum, and tremendous fortunes are made if you are there at the right time and the right place and you act. Give us a call. We'd be happy to talk with you. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.